In my past life, I defied my family's opposition, broke off my engagement with Thomas, and insisted on being with Ryan. 6 years later, he achieved fame and success by leveraging my family's influence, only to turn around and marry his first love. He even declared to the media, "I never loved Elise from the beginning, it was all her one-sided affection." His first love clung to his arm, smiling brightly as she said, "Ryan and I have endured many hardships over the years." Even when Elise tried to steal him away by flaunting her family's status, we never gave up on each other. They held a grand wedding. Yet I was imprisoned by him until death. After Rebirth, I awakened to consciousness. This time, I'll make sure that scumbag man and bitch woman stay locked together forever. "Where are you?" Ryan's reproachful voice came through the phone. "We've been dating for 3 years. Ryan kept telling me that his mother didn't like my spoiled rich girl attitude. To please her, I started giving up designer clothes and tried adopting a more modest lifestyle. Yet his whole family lived extravagantly on my money, putting on aristocratic airs. Because Ryan said, I prefer clean and natural looks over heavy makeup, I began going barefaced every day. His first love, however, appeared every day with exquisite makeup, always hovering between us. Every time we went out, people would say what a perfect match they were, like a golden couple. When I got upset about this, Ryan would say, "It's you I like, no matter what others say." I believed him without question and began to neglect my appearance even more. "What is it?" I replied coldly to Ryan. "What's the matter?" Ryan began to grow irritable. "Elise, did you forget my mom's birthday today? All my relatives are here already. I'm giving you 20 minutes to get here, or we're through." Ryan is mighty. The flattering voice of a man came through the phone. Disgust welled up in my heart as I impatiently hung up. "In this life, don't even think about making me obey you again, not a chance." In my past life, at Ryan's mother's birthday banquet, I showed up barefaced and was completely outshone by Layla, who arrived in full glamour. Everyone present was gossiping about it. And this is supposed to be a rich young lady? I think she's not even as good-looking as Layla, no wonder she's throwing herself at Ryan. Since they want to see me make a fool of myself, I'll play along. Half an hour later, I appeared in a red evening gown with exquisite makeup. Pushing the door open, I tossed my raven black curls. Layla, on the other hand, wore a pure white spaghetti-strap dress. Her understated makeup made her resemble a white lotus, but she paled slightly in comparison to the dazzling red rose before her. When she saw me again, Layla's smile froze. Though she said nothing, her eyes darted toward Ryan. A single glance from her, and Ryan understood perfectly. "What's wrong with you? Didn't I tell you before? I don't like women who wear heavy makeup." Ryan pulled me aside and muttered displeasedly. I feigned surprise and said, "Isn't it your mom's birthday today? If I didn't dress up and came here looking sloppy, wouldn't you feel embarrassed?" Ryan was left speechless. After a moment, he warned, "Just this once, don't let it happen again." I didn't respond to him. Instead, I started looking Ryan up and down. He was wearing a designer suit today, with a Rolex Submariner on his wrist. He looked every bit the successful man, with no trace of the poverty-stricken appearance he had when we first met. I still remember the first time I saw Ryan on campus. His outfit looked completely out of place in this fashionable city. It was raining that day, and without an umbrella, I ran toward the classroom with my bag over my head. He walked past me and held his umbrella over my head, leaving most of his own body exposed to the rain. Later, when I returned the umbrella, I learned he had fallen ill from getting soaked. Guilt-ridden, I took care of him during his illness. As we spent more time together, I developed feelings for him. I thought he was my heaven-sent match, little did I know it was all part of his and Layla's scheme. They wanted to establish themselves in City A. They needed a stepping stone. Coincidentally, I was naive and well-off, making me their perfect target. And so, I walked right into their carefully laid trap. When we first started dating, Ryan catered to my every whim. He drove me to and from school every day, made me breakfast, and delivered it to me. Rain or shine, he never missed a day. During the car accident, he shielded me tightly in his arms. At that moment, my love for him reached its peak. It was only later that I learned he had orchestrated that accident, all to make me feel that I couldn't live without him. After the accident, I introduced him to my parents. No matter how much they objected, I was determined to be with Ryan and resolutely broke off my engagement with Thomas. My dad was so angry with me that he almost had a heart attack. In the end, it was only under my threat of suicide that they reluctantly agreed to let me be with Ryan. After we got engaged, I continued to throw tantrums and threaten to harm myself, insisting that Ryan join the company. It wasn't until he finally took control of the entire group and married his first love that I finally woke up to the truth. But by then, it was too late. I was imprisoned by them. My father died of a heart attack brought on by rage and despair. In her hopelessness, my mother chose to end her life by jumping off a building. In this life, I will make Ryan and his whole family pay. Auntie, happy birthday. Please accept this small token of my affection. I walked over to Ryan's mother and handed her the gift I had prepared. In my past life, I had prepared an exquisite emerald bracelet for her because, a month before her birthday, Ryan's mother began subtly hinting to me about it. She mentioned that she had recently developed an interest in jade and emeralds, with a particular fondness for emeralds. In my past life, I went to great lengths to acquire this flawless bracelet. It was worth millions. This time, the gift was a freebie that came with a bag I bought. I just packaged it nicely in a pretty gift box. Giving them something valuable would be a waste. Might as well just go through the motions. Put it over there. Ryan's mother's eyes gleamed with desire for the gift I handed her, practically itching to open it immediately. But she had to maintain her airs, always putting on the act of a dignified wealthy lady. If it weren't for the fact that everyone present was their family relatives, no one would believe she used to be a cleaner. Now, thanks to me, the whole family doesn't have to work anymore. I placed the gift aside and quickly glanced at the dishes on the table. Ginseng, shark fin, abalone, all of them were there. This table alone must have cost tens of thousands. They sure spend my money generously. For such a small birthday, they've even invited 8 tables of guests. Just like that, hundreds of thousands are gone. Well, I'll see what they use to pay for it later. Ryan's relatives saw me and couldn't help but praise, "Your future daughter-in-law isn't just rich." Ryan's mother put on airs, "Nothing is settled yet. Whether she can marry into our family is still up in the air. Elise, that necklace of yours looks nice. Take it off and let me try it on." Like a bandit, Ivy always manages to take a few things from me every time we meet. Ever since I got together with Ryan, I stopped using all my luxury items because he doesn't like me being too flashy. As a result, most of those high-end pieces were taken by Ivy. She doesn't even bother asking. Over the years, I've lost count of how many things she's taken from me. "This is a limited edition, very expensive, I can't give it to you." This was the first time I had refused Ivy, which made her lose face. "You messed up my affairs with Thomas, so consider this necklace as compensation for me." Ivy had no shame either. When I refused, she even tried to snatch it. Fortunately, I knew her well and turned away just in time to dodge her. Ivy threatened, "It's just a necklace, and you're so unwilling to give it to me. Do you still want my brother to marry you or not?" She knows I care most about Ryan. But I've been reborn, and awakened to what happens next. How could I possibly still care? Marry me? I don't want to die again. The matter is already settled. It's just that you're too ugly, they rejected you because of your looks. What can I do about it? Who are you calling ugly? Ivy flushed crimson with anger. Mom. Brother. Look at this woman, she's actually insulting me. Elise, that was too much. How could you say such things to Ivy? Layla immediately played the scheming woman's part, putting an arm around Ivy's shoulders to comfort her. Don't be upset, Ivy. You're just not good at dressing up. Ryan's mother suddenly stood up, pointing at my nose and cursing, "Who do you think you are? How dare you humiliate my daughter? Look at you, dolled up like some seductress. Do you really think my son likes you? I'll never agree to let you marry my son in this lifetime. Ryan slammed the table and roared, Elise, apologize to my sister right now. Maybe then I'll consider forgiving you. Why should I apologize? Was I wrong? I raised my eyes and saw Layla's malicious grin. She was waiting for the show, waiting for me to beg Ryan for mercy, waiting to see me humiliated in front of everyone. She even had her phone out, ready to film my apology. Ryan said matter-of-factly, my sister asked you to help her pursue Thomas, and you couldn't even handle such a simple matter. What's wrong with taking your necklace as compensation? Thomas used to be my fiancé. Our parents were close friends, so they arranged our marriage since childhood. Though there were some business alliance considerations, Thomas genuinely loved me. Before meeting Ryan, I always thought Thomas was a perfect match. And indeed he was. It's just that later I was deceived by Ryan into believing Thomas only wanted to marry me to take over my family's business. Furious and resentful, I deliberately introduced Ivy to him even though I knew he didn't like her. She's the toad lusting after a swan's flesh, and it's my fault she can't get it? As soon as I said this, Ryan's family erupted in anger. Who are you calling a toad? Ivy flew into a rage, charging at me with claws bared. I grabbed her wrist and shoved her back hard, sending her stumbling to the ground with a thud. You bitch. Ivy screeched from her humiliating sprawl on the floor. Elise, how could you treat Ivy like that? She's Ryan's sister after all. Just apologize to her now and let's put this behind us. Layla pretended to be kind as she approached me, but I dodged her like avoiding the plague. Layla looked somewhat embarrassed. Ryan's mother pointed at me and said viciously, I'm telling you, if you dare humiliate my daughter like this, don't even think about marrying Ryan. Elise, did you hear me? Apologize to my sister right now, and maybe I'll still forgive you. Otherwise, we're breaking up. This was the sentence Ryan said most often. In my past life, I feared these words the most. Whenever Ryan threatened to break up, I would immediately back down. He had me under his thumb using the breakup card. I want to break up. Having been reborn, how could I possibly care anymore? I tossed my hair and turned to leave with effortless grace. Now, every second spent with him makes me sick to my stomach. One more minute in his presence, and I might actually vomit. Elise. You'd better not regret this. Don't come crawling back to me crying. Ryan's furious voice shouted behind me. Ignoring him, I slammed the door shut behind me. The moment I got in the car, my father called. Elise, Thomas is leaving the country, permanently. Are you happy now? In my previous life at this time, my father also called me. Not only did I not take it seriously, but I even sneered, I have nothing to do with him. There's no need to tell me if he's leaving. Thomas went abroad because of me too. Not long before, to prove my loyalty to Ryan, I schemed to push Thomas and Ivy together. Thomas was clever, he saw through my plan. He became completely disillusioned with me and left for abroad for many years. He didn't return until after I died. When he learned what had happened to me, he resolved to avenge me. He deliberately got close to Ivy to gather evidence that Ryan and others had conspired to seize my family's business and end my life. Unfortunately, Ryan found out. Ryan committed murder by tampering with his car, causing it to crash and kill him. This time I've come back, not only to save my family but also Thomas. I'm on my way now. Stop him and don't let him leave. I hung up the phone, urging the driver to go faster while dialing the bank's number. I froze Ryan's supplementary card. I wanted to see how he would pay without my money. By the time I arrived at Thomas's house, the servants were already loading his luggage into the car. My parents were still trying to persuade Thomas, who frowned, resolute in his decision. I parked nearby and walked toward him. He looked both confused and annoyed when he saw me. Of course I knew what angered him. It was obviously the fact that I had drugged him, trying to make him sleep with Ivy. He hadn't told anyone about this incident. Neither my parents nor his knew about it. I kept thinking, If Thomas's parents ever found out, they'd probably never forgive me for the rest of their lives. Can we talk? Thomas's face was cold as he replied, what else is there left for us to talk about? 10 minutes. I won't stop you if you want to leave after we talk. Seeing the sincerity in my eyes, Thomas softened again. He always found it impossible to resist me. I followed him to his bedroom. Speak. I cut straight to the point, let's get married. In my past life, he loved me with his life, this time, I'll love him with mine. What did you say? Anger flickered between Thomas's brows, he must have thought I was toying with him. But I understood. After all the humiliation I put him through before, suddenly proposing marriage? Anyone would be wary. You heard me right, I'm completely serious. Let's get married, we'll go register right now. Thomas grabbed my shoulder suddenly. Elise, what exactly do you want? Do you have to trample my pride underfoot before you're satisfied? Thomas, I know what I did to you before makes it hard for you to trust me now. I didn't know how else to prove my sincerity, so in the heat of his anger, I pressed my lips to his without hesitation. Thomas's eyes widened in shock, and seconds later he pushed me away. Elise, must you humiliate me like this? His bloodshot eyes stared at me, glistening with unshed tears. Seeing him like this broke my heart. I really wanted to slap myself. How could I be such a scoundrel, hurting someone who loved me so deeply like this? I broke up with Ryan. I had this long dream. I told him everything about my past life as if it were just a dream. He froze for a moment. So you broke up with him because of this? But who's to say you won't go running back to him after just a few sweet words from him? I used to love too desperately, pining for Ryan to the point of life or death. They were all certain I couldn't live without Ryan, Thomas included, otherwise he wouldn't have completely given up on me. I don't love him anymore, believe me. Just as Thomas was beginning to soften, Ryan's call came through. The moment Thomas saw Ryan's name on the caller ID, his expression turned cold again. I answered the call right in front of him, putting it on speakerphone. Elise, what do you mean by freezing the card? We've already broken up. Surely you don't still expect to spend my money? Elise, are you sure you want to do this? Ryan took a deep breath. Come back now, pay the bill, and I can let it slide. Otherwise, don't expect me to forgive you. Then don't forgive me. I hung up the phone and blocked him right in front of Thomas. Can you believe me now? Are you sure about registering the marriage? Thomas's brows relaxed. Let's go. I grabbed his hand in a hurry and rushed downstairs. Seeing me holding Thomas, both sets of parents looked puzzled. Had these two kids made up again? Give me the household register. Ever since I got together with Ryan, my mom had been afraid I'd impulsively marry him, so she always kept the household register on her person. What are you trying to do? My mom took a defensive step back. To get a marriage certificate with Thomas. I tightened my grip on Thomas's hand and raised it slightly. What? Both sets of parents went from initial disbelief to crying tears of joy. My mother even tearfully bowed in prayer, thank God for making my daughter come to her senses. At the entrance of the marriage registration office, Thomas stopped and looked at me. Think carefully. Once we get this certificate, even death won't part us. Let's hurry. I cheerfully pulled him inside. After getting our certificate, my phone rang again. Unknown number. Elise, I'm giving you half an hour to come, or I'll never forgive you. Ryan's anxious voice came through the receiver. He must have been short on cash to pay the bill. Starting to panic now. Trying to freeload with audacity? I won't indulge him. I didn't even bother responding, just hung up immediately. He kept calling from several different numbers, but I rejected and blocked every one. For the next month, Thomas and I were off on our honeymoon. At every stop, we'd take photos and post them online. Our friends were utterly stunned by the updates. Esme, a mutual friend of Thomas and me, commented under one post, "Congratulations! May lovebirds finally unite, grow old together, and soon be blessed with a child. Later, Esme and I had a long private chat. From her, I learned quite a few hilarious anecdotes about Ryan, like how he'd been completely broke at that birthday dinner and had to borrow money from every relative and friend present to cover the bill. When they heard about borrowing money, they all quickly fled. In the end, only Ryan's family and Layla, his little first love, remained. They could only scrape together whatever they had, selling all the valuables I had ever given them. Because they were in a hurry to sell, the buyers deliberately lowballed them, turning items worth millions into mere tens of thousands, just enough to settle the debt. In truth, those buyers were sent by me. I knew they would have to sell the things I gave them when they ran out of money. So I made sure the prices were driven as low as possible, just to leave them destitute and penniless. After everything ended and they returned home, they were evicted by the landlord. The house they had been living in had always been mine. The first thing I did after being reborn was secretly sell that house. All for this day. To drive them out. They tried to weasel their way back into the house they'd already sold, but no one indulged their nonsense. The police were called and they were all taken away. The whole family emerged from the police station cursing me. Ryan went to school looking for me, only to find I'd taken leave, and the research project he'd been working on with classmates had been rejected by the school. In my past life, it was always my money that got their projects approved. This time I refused to spend a penny, so the school rejected him outright. Ryan tried desperately to contact me, but with my number changed, he couldn't reach me at all. Without me, he quickly returned to his former destitute life. Yet as the saying goes, it's easy to go from frugality to luxury, but hard to go from luxury back to frugality. Having grown accustomed to a lavish spending lifestyle, the family found it difficult to readjust to their former hardships. Conflicts soon arose, and they began blaming each other. It's all your fault. You had to pretend to be rich, and now look, Elise dumped you. Ivy's constant sarcasm only fueled Ryan's anger. He slapped her hard across the face and snapped, "How dare you blame me? If it weren't for you demanding her necklace, I wouldn't have fallen out with her. You actually hit me." Ivy clutched her face, furious. "Who do you think you are? You couldn't even play the gigolo role properly. Did you really think that rich heiress was dumb enough to let you manipulate her? Now you're done for, no more freeloading meals, let's see how you manage next." Ryan hated nothing more than being called a freeloader. To be mercilessly humiliated by his own younger sister made his face flush alternately red and pale. "Say that again if you dare." "I will." "Freeloader." Ivy had always been spoiled by their mother and feared Ryan not one bit. "I'll beat you to death." Ryan's raised hand was stopped by his mother. Ryan's mother pulled Ivy close, looking at his swollen face. Though heartbroken, she still tried to comfort Ryan with words. "What good does hitting your sister do? Will it bring Elise back? The most important thing for you now is to think carefully about how to win Elise back. The school said she took leave. I can't even get into her house, how am I supposed to find her?" Ryan sat down with a look of despair. During this time, he had tried every possible way but simply couldn't get in touch with me. Then just stake out at her place. I don't believe she won't come home eventually. Although Ryan's mother's idea was clumsy, it was still a solution. So in the following days, Ryan began staking out near my house every day. Esme lived in the same estate as us, and every time we came or went, we could always spot Ryan waiting not far away. Esme even secretly took a photo of him and sent it to me. I never expected that after not seeing him for so many days, he had become so haggard. His face was covered in stubble, and he seemed to have aged several years. Even with his handsome looks, he couldn't hide those dark circles under his eyes. "What are you looking at?" Thomas came back with my favorite milk tea and, noticing Ryan's photo on my screen, immediately furrowed his brows. I immediately wrapped my arms around his neck, coquettishly saying, "Esme sent it to me, it wasn't me who wanted to look. She said I should see how miserable Ryan is now. Esme, don't blame me. Best friends are supposed to take knives for each other in critical moments, that's what besties do." Thomas slightly lifted his chin, so did it make you happy? Or sad? Of course happy. Afraid he might get jealous, I prepared to offer him a sweet kiss. But Thomas was too tall, and he wasn't cooperating. Every time I stood on tiptoe, he'd raise his chin higher. I glanced around, not caring about the impact, and leaped up, straddling him with my legs before successfully planting my kiss. Thomas froze for a moment, his feigned anger instantly vanishing. Afraid I might fall, he immediately wrapped his arms around me. Now do you believe me? My heart belongs only to you, I said earnestly after pulling away from his lips. I believe you, but... A mischievous grin spread across his face as he whispered in my ear, this isn't enough. Let's continue at the hotel. My face instantly burned with embarrassment, and I quickly climbed off him, my cheeks flushed. After the honeymoon. Just as we returned to City A and the car was about to enter the estate, someone suddenly jumped out and blocked our path. The driver reacted swiftly. It was just a sudden break, causing my head to bump against the passenger seat. Fortunately, the impact wasn't too strong. Thomas hurriedly checked on me. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I'm fine, I shook my head, feeling a warmth in my heart at the sight of his worried expression. Elise. The car window was being banged loudly. I reluctantly rolled it down to see Ryan with a scruffy beard, wearing a white shirt stained with a patch of dirt on the chest. Probably hadn't changed it in days. What are you here for? I glared at him with annoyance. Finally seeing me, he seemed agitated. Elise, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I swear I'll treat you twice as well from now on. Being good to her is my duty. It's not your turn anymore. Thomas spoke icily, casting a disdainful glance at Ryan. Ryan then noticed Thomas in the car and questioned, why is he with you? Didn't you promise me you'd break off the engagement with him? You're nothing to me. Who I'm with doesn't need your approval. Besides, we've already broken up, you have no right to question who I date. Ryan tried to reach out through the car window to grab my hand, but I coldly dodged him. Elise, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I was just speaking in anger that day, it doesn't count. I sneered, didn't you say a real man's word is as solid as a mountain? No, I'm not a real man. As long as you're willing to forgive me, I'll do anything. The current Ryan had none of the arrogance he showed when I loved him. Some people are just despicable. When you love them, they take advantage of your affection and trample on your sincerity without restraint. Now that I no longer love him, he's groveling like a dog. Though I know he's insincere, seeing him act like a dog gives me immense satisfaction. In my past life, I had begged him the same way, pleaded with him to spare my family. But he had said, Elise, do you know how much I've hated pretending to be by your side all these years? Why should someone like you be born with everything? While I struggled just to gain footing in this city. I refused to accept this. I must rise above everyone. The corporation will be mine. After he successfully took control of the group, he provoked my father into a heart attack but refused to send him to the hospital, watching coldly as he died. At that time I was imprisoned in the basement, unaware of what had happened. Yet he would visit me, each time bringing terrible news. In total, he came only 3 times. The first time was when my father passed away from a heart attack. The second time was when my mother jumped to her death. The third time was when he announced his marriage to Layla. It no longer mattered to me. All I wanted now was to kill him, to perish together with him. But after days of starvation, I had no strength left. The moment I lunged at him, he shoved me away brutally. You think you're worthy to kill me? He turned away with ruthless finality. The back of my head hit the corner of the desk. A sharp pain shot through me as crimson blood began to flow, soaking my entire back within moments. I bled out just like that. Very well. Tomorrow at school, read this aloud for an hour in front of everyone, and I'll forgive you. This apology letter was printed during my honeymoon. That day when Esme told me Ryan was lying in wait for me here, I'd already planned everything to humiliate him. I don't just want to humiliate him. I also want to strip him of the academic achievements he's so proud of. Ryan took it, skimmed through briefly, then hesitated with a conflicted expression. This? Didn't you say you'd do anything? If you won't even accept this, how can I possibly forgive you? My expression turned icy. Since you're unwilling, forget it. Let's go. Wait. Ryan frantically slapped the car door several times. I'll do it. I'll do it. Alright, see you at school tomorrow. I couldn't be bothered to say more to him and rolled up the window. As the window closed, I still caught a fleeting glimpse of hatred in Ryan's eyes, though it lasted only a brief moment. Let's go. The car slowly started moving as Thomas took my hand, his burning gaze fixed on me. You talked to him. You'll be punished tonight. A shiver ran through me. I really don't know where this man gets all his energy. He exhausts me day and night. Looks like I won't escape tonight either. The next day at school. I arrived in style, driving a Ferrari to campus. Ryan used to dislike me being too flashy, so I had abandoned all such ostentatious displays in the past. Now I was determined to reclaim my identity as the proud and beautiful princess I once was. The moment I stepped onto campus, I ran into Esme. She looked me up and down and exclaimed, "Our Elise is finally back." I tossed my hair and walked away with flair. I was blind for a while, but now my vision's back. About time you woke up. I always said that Ryan was no good. Esme had once gotten into a heated argument with me over Ryan. Seeing that I was truly dead set, she stopped questioning further. Esme came forward and linked her arm with mine. The campus was now crowded with many people. Ryan was holding a megaphone and reading the letter I had given him, which he had been doing for over half an hour. I'm just a freeloader. I spent Elise's money and even had the audacity to try to bring her down. My whole family is awful. Elise provided for our food and drink, yet we were ungrateful, humiliating her, undermining her, and deceiving her. We are terrible. Elise, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Surrounded by mocking laughter and faced with so many people and so much ridicule, his face grew increasingly pale. He desperately wanted to just walk away. But he couldn't. After striving for so long, he absolutely couldn't let all his efforts go to waste now. To establish himself in this city. To rise above others. He had to endure hardships patiently. Finally, the hour was up. Ryan turned off the megaphone and walked toward me. Elise, I've finished reading. Please forgive me. Ryan gripped the megaphone so tightly it seemed he wanted to crush it to pieces. I glanced at him and smirked disdainfully. His current restraint was merely preparation for crushing me to pieces tomorrow. This I understood better than anyone, which was why I had to strike first and send him tumbling into the abyss. Forgiven. Really? Ryan excitedly grabbed my hand and began pouring out his complaints. Elise, hurry up and unblock my card. You have no idea what kind of life I've been living lately. Ryan had reached the point of no return. He didn't care that there were so many people present. He cared even less about others calling him a gold digger. After all, once he finished reading that hour-long apology letter, what dignity would he have left at school? As long as he could return to his wealthy lifestyle, he'd do anything no matter how humiliating. As long as he could regain my trust, it would only be a matter of time before he replaced me. And when that time came, he would make me repay him 100-fold, 1,000-fold. I shook off his hand in disgust. I forgave you, but I never agreed to get back together. Ryan froze, but yesterday you said as long as I read an hour-long apology in front of the whole school. I cut him off. A bright but mocking smile played on my lips. I only said I'd forgive you. I never said reading it meant we'd reconcile. So you were toying with me on purpose? Ryan finally realized. His face twisted in utter fury. Rage surged through him now, his entire body radiating murderous intent. But this was school, I knew he wouldn't dare lay a finger on me here. So what if I did? I retorted with a mocking smile curling at my lips. Ryan pointed at me and snarled, "Elise, just you wait. I won't let you get away with this." Sure enough, the next day news about me surfaced online with the headline, "Wealthy heiress steals love and toys with poor boy's feelings." Ryan poured out his grievances against me in tearful online posts, accusing me of coming between him and his childhood sweetheart Layla, threatening that I'd have Layla ruined if he didn't comply. For Layla's safety, he endured humiliation and chose to be with me. Just because he invited Layla to his mother's birthday banquet, I flew into a rage and stormed out. I even forced his entire family onto the streets and made him read an hour-long apology letter in front of the whole school. Yet I still wasn't satisfied. Leveraging my power, I pressured the school to cancel his research project. This stirred up a storm, especially in a society where resentment towards the wealthy runs so deep. The incident further provoked online trolls to swarm against him. As for Layla, she's a minor influencer with over 100,000 followers on a certain platform. At this moment, she posted a tearful picture online with the caption, "No fate in this life, may we never meet powerful people again in the next." Layla's move gained a lot of sympathy. She gained countless followers in no time and pushed me to the peak of public opinion. I was criticized mercilessly online. But I didn't care. No matter how much they cursed me, I wouldn't lose a piece of flesh. On the contrary, I was even happy. I even spent money to boost the posts, and within a day, the incident dominated the trending lists on major websites. I went to school as if nothing had happened. But I never expected some people's resentment toward the wealthy to be so severe that they would come to the school. As soon as I arrived at the school gate, someone threw rotten vegetables at me. Fortunately, Esme protected me and we ran away quickly. Later, relevant authorities came to investigate the revocation of Ryan's research project. After their investigation, they concluded that Ryan's research project was indeed subpar. So they published the investigation results online. However, the comment section was flooded with accusations that they had been bribed by me. Very few could distinguish right from wrong. As the controversy grew hotter, it was time to strike back. In the hallway, Ryan blocked my way. "A good dog doesn't block the path, get lost." I looked utterly annoyed and was about to walk around him when I heard Ryan whisper, "Elise, this is what you get for crossing me. If you kneel and beg for forgiveness now, I might just let it slide." I covered my nose in disgust and said, "Your breath stinks like a dog's." "You." Ryan suppressed his anger, venomously retorting, "Just you wait. Sooner or later, you'll come crawling back to me." I couldn't be bothered to engage with him and swiftly walked around him to leave. The moment I got home, I uploaded all the pre-prepared audio recordings, along with years of financial records showing my expenses for Ryan's family and our chat logs, straight to the internet. On the day of Ryan's mother's birthday banquet, I secretly carried a voice recorder with me. I captured every word of that day's conversations. His family claimed to have suffered under my oppression, yet the recordings clearly showed them lording it over me with arrogance. Anyone with eyes can see right from wrong. Especially with the supplementary card bills. The Ryan family's monthly expenses amount to hundreds of thousands. Public opinion immediately shifted. Everyone turned to criticize Ryan. I've seen freeloaders before, but never one so shameless. What a scumbag. My God. If this counts as coercion, then coerce me instead. I'd gladly take it. Look at me, beautiful. Look at me. This family has no shame at all. They leech off others yet act self-righteous, even emotionally manipulating her. So glad she dumped him, this is so satisfying. The Ryan family was thoroughly exposed. Even Ryan's mother and Ivy's newly found jobs were lost. Without any income, the family couldn't even afford rent and were eventually evicted by their landlord. Now the prediction had come true. They were truly left homeless. The school expelled Ryan on the grounds that his malicious rumors had brought severe negative repercussions to the institution. With no way out, he had no choice but to turn to Layla for help. Yet Layla herself was in trouble. The words she spoke in the recording had now backfired on her. Netizens criticized her as a scheming woman and a hypocrite. While she had gained a massive following before, she was now rapidly losing fans. "Layla, you're all I have now." Ryan held Layla's hand, completely oblivious to the disdain in her eyes. "Ryan, after what that woman did to you, you can't just let her off so easily. Without money or influence, how can we fight against her?" Layla schemed inwardly. Though she secretly scorned the foolish Ryan, she still had to feign unwavering devotion. "Have you forgotten? Back then, we told you to take intimate photos of her while she was asleep." "Right." Ryan suddenly realized. How could he have forgotten this? A woman's greatest fear is having her intimate photos leaked. I had long anticipated he would resort to this trick and had already prepared a countermeasure. When Ryan threatened me with those intimate photos, I wasn't the slightest bit afraid. $10 million in exchange for your intimate photos, it's a fair deal for you." Thinking he had me cornered, Ryan laughed wildly and arrogantly. "Give me your card number." So we exchanged money for deleting the photos and videos. Just as Ryan got the money and was about to leave, several people suddenly burst in and restrained him. "Mr. Ryan, you're suspected of blackmail. We need you to come with us for questioning." Ryan's eyes widened as he stared at me. He never expected I'd set a trap for him. "Elise. You bitch. You framed me." Even while restrained by the police, he struggled violently, cursing me non-stop. He knew this was his last chance. $1 million is enough for him to rot in prison. Now he won't get the chance to curse me to my face anymore. "Don't slander me, I didn't do anything." Watching him being taken away, the boulder in my heart finally settled. The mastermind behind it all had been brought to justice. From then on, I began preparing for the wedding. Thomas wanted to give me the best of everything in the world, and the wedding arrangements were all tailored to my preferences. On the wedding day, it was the talk of the town. Dozens of luxury cars made for an extraordinarily grand occasion. As I walked arm in arm with my father toward Thomas at the end of the aisle, everything felt so blissful it was almost unreal. In my previous life, I was so misguided that I pushed such a wonderful person far away. Thank heaven for giving me a second chance, allowing me the opportunity to win this man's heart once again. "Thomas, from today onward, Elise is in your care. You must treat her well," my father said, his eyes glistening with tears. I knew those were tears of joy. I had finally married Thomas, whom they had watched grow up. I felt not the slightest reluctance as I went to Thomas's side, looking at him with a radiant smile. Thomas, on the other hand, was quite emotional. Choking up, he said, "Elise, do you know? My dream since childhood was to marry you. Today, I've finally made it come true." After the ceremony concluded, we changed into formal attire and moved between tables to toast the guests. "Elise, give me your life." A roar echoed through the hall. Before I could even react, I saw someone dressed in a waiter's uniform charging at me with a knife. The crowd turned to look in shock. My tight formal dress restricted my movements, making it impossible for me to dodge in time. Just as I thought my life was about to end, a strong and sturdy arm pulled me aside, while he himself was struck directly in the abdomen by the sharp blade. "Thomas." I watched as blood gushed from his abdomen, and endless panic surged in my eyes. In my past life, I had died from losing too much blood. I was terrified he might leave me the same way. No. Absolutely not. "Elise, give me back my son. He was so outstanding, and it's all your fault he's in prison. I'll kill you." Only then did I realize, this person was actually Ryan's mother. She tried to charge at me again, but thankfully, the hotel security stopped her. I held Thomas, who had been stabbed in the abdomen, and cried out, "Thomas, hold on. Don't leave me, I can't live without you." Thomas was quickly rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. Fortunately, he arrived in time. The knife had missed his vital organs, so his life wasn't in danger. When the doctor finished speaking, my trembling hands, shaking uncontrollably from fear, finally stilled. Those hands were stained with Thomas's blood. a blinding red. Drowned in silent sobs. By the time Thomas was wheeled back to his room, I had composed myself enough to step forward and grasp his hand. Thomas. Thomas still looked somewhat exhausted, likely due to excessive blood loss. His voice was so faint I had to lean in close to hear what he was saying. I pressed my ear closer to him. Elise, I had that dream of yours too. I was startled at first, then could no longer hold back my sobs. Emotions I'd suppressed for so long needed release through tears at this moment. Elise, I'm sorry. From now on I'll protect you properly, I won't let anyone hurt you ever again. Gripping my hand with all the strength he could muster, I knew, Thomas had come back too. After Thomas was discharged from the hospital following his injury, I began preparing to deal with the next targets. Since they wanted my life, I wouldn't show them any mercy either. I quickly contacted Ivy's father. I knew her parents had divorced long ago, and he had remarried to a woman obsessed with wealth. With just a little manipulation, it wasn't long before they took Ivy away by force to marry her off. For 300,000 yuan, she was forcibly married to a mentally disabled man. She attempted to escape several times but was caught each time. Eventually, the family broke her legs to prevent further escapes. Not long after, Ivy became pregnant. Next is Layla, the mastermind who convinced Ryan's mother to kill me. I naturally wouldn't let her off easily. Layla was originally a minor internet celebrity, but my counterattack backfired on her, and she couldn't survive in the influencer circle anymore. Now, she plans to break into the web drama industry. So, by accompanying wealthy and powerful men, she indeed managed to land a few roles in web dramas. I directly leaked this to the wives of these powerful men, and soon Layla was publicly assaulted on the street, even stripped naked. After several rounds of humiliation and beatings, she developed a psychological trauma. Now, whenever she sees someone approaching her, she becomes terrified. Once, she was so frightened that she ran straight into oncoming traffic. Then she was hit by a normally moving vehicle and sent flying several meters. Although rushed to the hospital in time and her life was saved, she was left completely disabled, paralyzed and unable to move in bed. With everyone dealt with, I finally felt completely relieved. The heavy weight in my heart was at last lifted entirely. In the days to come, I only wanted to spend quality time with my parents, live a good life with Thomas, and nurture the child we had just been blessed with. Yes, I was pregnant.